Hello everyone, welcome back to the training logs. This is January 25th of 2016 and we figured we would start this off with some overhead press. So today is going to be a heavy day for Glenn. He decided he was going to use 155 pounds and he was going to do 25 total reps. It did not matter how many sets it took him, he was doing 25 total reps. And this was a very brutal workout. As you can see here on this first set, that last one's a grinder, lost his balance a little bit, went on his toes. But he was going to do this today. Really awesome time watching him struggle through this and really push the overhead strength. And pre-injury, Glenn did have a 1 rep max of 210 pounds, and that was not from the rack, that was actually from a power clean. So he could probably press a little bit more than that back then, and he's got a long way to go. So he decided he was going to do this a little bit heavier. See there, that last rep didn't quite go up. For me, I was going to do something a little bit different. I made a new program for me. This is my heavy day, and it is 5 sets of 2. And as you can see there, I am struggling. In the video that I just put up, the training log prior to this, I mentioned that my shoulders and my triceps and my elbows are just really getting beat up from the diet. I'm having a really hard time recovering. And maybe I started this off a little bit too heavy, but I wasn't going to back down from this either. It was just 5 sets of 2. Glenn here now with his third set, trying to get as many reps as he can because he doesn't want to be here all night. And 3 in really good. That last one just not able to push it with the triceps. Here, this is only my second set, and look at how slow I am going. I definitely need to work on the speed with these, and I am going to have to try and do some standing press with bands, I think. I think that's the next route to go. But as I said, this is the heaviest day of overheads for me. And back to Glenn here on his 4th set already. And he decided at this point that since he's been having a hard time and failing on the 4th rep, he was going to try it one last time. And it just, right there, right above his head, he just doesn't have anything with the triceps. And one of the things that is very interesting, if you notice, that's where I'm getting stuck, is right above my head. So my triceps, again, my weak point, and that is very evident in the overhead press and the bench press. So definitely need to work on that. And I think it's quite interesting. You'll see how fast I can get it off of my chest, my collarbone there, to about the head region, and then I just get stuck on the triceps. That used to be where I would fail. I would fail from the chest to below my nose, which indicated it was a problem in either my stance or my shoulders. Now it's the triceps. So I guess that's good for my shoulders, not so good for the triceps.
Okay, I'm just gonna not do it next time.
And Glenn just, getting 3 reps in all night. So he's going to be here for a while. Definitely pushing it really hard to try and get those 25 reps in. Me, I only had to do 10, so I was kind of excited to just get this done and over with. It was very difficult. And talking a little bit about the diet, which I haven't done, I am cutting about 1,000 calories out of maintenance. Okay, so typically most people are going to try and cut around 400 to 600 calories away from their maintenance. I maintain around 3,000 to 3,500. It kind of varies, but that's what I was eating and maintaining my weight prior to this. And this weight right here, I was doing no problem all night long. I was doing triples with 195, so you can definitely see that I'm having trouble here. I just don't have the energy, don't have the strength, and restricting myself to around 2,000 calories a day is definitely playing a major role in that. Glenn now on set 7. as far as technique and everything with Glenn, it's really good. You know, it's solid. He's pushing strong and fast off of his chest. It's going above his head, and then it's just a little bit of weakness in the triceps. So he's having the same problem I am, but he's upright. There's no technical flaws. Now, because I was watching Glenn just do this, I decided, you know what? I'm going to go and just do one more set, and it was a mistake. Look at that terrible grinder. That looked like a 1 rep max attempt, and the second rep just was not going to happen. And Glenn now on set 8, just finishing it up.
1.
And I'll be honest, I didn't count his total reps. I was counting them when we were out there, so I'm pretty sure he got to 25 total, but I didn't recount them while I was watching the video. So if one of you guys or gals are really bored and you want to go through and verify he did 25, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to take it on the honor system. And this is something you're going to see a lot from me is back offsets. So just taking the light weight and getting a lot of reps in. It allows me to get a little bit of work in, not so heavy, so it's easier to recover from. And it just went down to 125 pounds. I think the next time that I do a back offset with overhead, I'm going to go just a little bit lighter than this. You know, the goal is to get 10 plus reps, which I did do here with 125 pounds, but I definitely want to get a little bit closer to 15 to 20. And I think it'll be a little bit easier to do it with a lighter weight, and then, of course, I can always add weight as we progress. Now on to deadlifts. Glenn decided that he was going to follow the same weight scheme that I was doing for deadlifts, and it's the same rep scheme as well. And tonight was my threes day, so he's just pulling 315 for his first set. And then we jumped it up to 345 pounds here for his second set. And this is going to be the same weight that I used for my first set, which is significantly lighter than I've been working with in December and even back to October. I was normally warming up with 405 pounds as my last warm-up. But again, because of the diet and because it is the off-season, I'm not pushing those PRs at the end of the year. We're taking the weight down, following 531, doing the percentages as written, trying to get the work in. And the plan right now is to try and run the diet pretty strict from January through either end of March or end of April, and then I will have to up the calories a little bit as we prepare to do a strongman competition. For those of you who haven't seen it, my powerlifting competition I really wanted to do ended up being on the same day as my daughter's birthday. So obviously I am a dad first lifter far down in second place, so I am going to have to find a different powerlifting meet. But I just want to say, on deadlifts especially, it is just killing me. I don't know what's going on. My squats haven't been affected too badly by the diet, which you would think would be the opposite. As I'm losing weight, which granted right now I haven't lost very many inches, my leverages should improve on the deadlift and get worse for the squat. It's significantly easier to squat heavy as a bigger guy because your belly hits your thighs and allows you to push off. But you'll see here, 445, this is normally around my first set, and I want to say I pulled 455 for 5 or 6 during my last training for a couple of different sets as I was preparing for a max. And you can see here the third rep, I had to re-chalk for the fourth, but this fourth rep is just awful. I am feeling beat up, nothing wants to work right, and it's just slow and grindy at 445. So that's not a very good sign. Glenn and I were definitely commenting on that. Glenn pulling 415 for his second single after doing the 395. Looked really good, really smooth there. And I decided to go ahead and do a single even though I wasn't feeling it at all. So 495, really slow, not happy with it. Glenn attempted 415 for a third, and it just was not going to happen. So we decided to do some heavy pull downs, and then we did a couple with reps, and we did a lot of ab work. Now I'm going to speed up most of this pull down work. As we all know, pull downs are kind of boring to watch. Not a lot of commentary to do there, other than I do want to make sure that we're getting our heavy pull downs in there. And so what we're doing is upping the weight quite a bit for the first set, just trying to really work on the strength, and then we dropped it down just a little bit to make sure we're getting some volume in there as well, and really building up the lats and the back. Now that is something that is going to have carryover to almost everything, so make sure that in your personal training you are not neglecting back work. Glenn and I have periodically just completely ignored back work, and it's definitely caused us to fall behind. But your back is important for staying upright in the squat, it's important for pulling in the deadlift, it's important for giving you a base on the bench, for the overhead press, really awesome for any sort of strongman movement, anything where you're picking stuff off, and a big back looks awesome, let's be honest. So this is the only type of ab work that I'm going to leave in here for the video. I apologize for moving this camera all over and making you motion sick. But this is something that we figured out would at least target the external abs, basically your six-pack muscles. We were getting way too much hip flexor involvement in any type of sit-up variation, which is not what I want to do. My hip flexors for me are already super tight. You can see there as I'm coming up, my legs just lift off the ground because my hip flexors are that tight. So I do not want to do any sort of direct work on them that would strengthen them. So this is just a 45-pound plate, just doing a slight curl there, contracting the muscles, holding it, trying to make sure that we're getting some static strength in there. Definitely need to work on this heavier. This is something we used to do quite often, and I would hold it with 125 pounds over my head. So definitely need to push the weight a little bit. And here you can see I decided I was going to keep my legs out, so doing a leg raise and then lifting my legs up with my lower abdominals and try and keep the whole thing contracted, similar to a V-up. Obviously we're not going that far, and I couldn't because my belly is too big, it would get in the way. Really can't do any sort of V-up or really a sit-up. So as the diet progresses and continues to lose inches at some point, obviously, as the weight goes down, maybe that'll be a little bit easier and we can reevaluate what we can do for ab work. But right now, out of everything that we tried, all the different variations, this and planks are the best, and planks is going to work more of the intra-abdominal muscles and the stabilizers, and that's more of a static holding strength, which is going to be built up in deadlifts, overhead pressing, and squats. So not necessarily something that is weak, but it is something that we are working, and working it directly is not going to hurt anything. Although I haven't done it in a while, I did used to do planks and try and hold them between 30 seconds and a minute with my kids on my back. So I don't think there's a big weakness there, but there definitely is a little bit of weakness in the external abs here. Now you can see here I was trying to do some steppers, and the coordination is just not there. I don't have that good of coordination. I'm trying to move my legs around. I have no idea, honestly, what I'm doing other than keeping my legs up and moving to make it a little bit harder on my abs. I can't tell you if it made it any more difficult. Everything just felt easy. The 45-pound plate is nothing, and I think a lot of that is just still left over from how overdeveloped my abs were in wrestling, and for the first several years after wrestling, I did a overabundance of sit-ups, which allowed me to do a lot of weight. Used to be able to hang upside down and do sit-ups with a 25-pound plate in my arms. So, definitely haven't lost all of that. Now, this is something I wanted to try, and I just couldn't quite get straight. I used to be able to do this when I was obviously significantly lighter, so I wanted to give it a shot. Gave it 2 attempts. The first one at least was able to slow the descent. On the second one right here, I am definitely doing nothing but falling down. So that did nothing. And of course, wanted to finish up the workout with some reverse hyperextensions, get some blood flowing in the back, make it feel really nice, and also work the lower back in a position where it's not loaded, and get some upper hamstring work, and I guess a little bit of glute involvement there. But I do recommend this movement, especially if you have a lower back injury. It is just awesome, and I love it. And I almost want to bring it inside the house so I don't have to go out in the cold to use this, so I can do it every day. But that is it for today's training log. Everyone, make sure that you are going out and doing something active. And as always, make sure when you are lifting something, you go and lift something heavy. That is it. Take it easy.